Between the years when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of, when shining kingdoms lay spread across the world. Hither came Conan, the Cimmerian, sword in hand. It is I, his chronicler, who knows well his saga. Now let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Freshly Baked Props. As always, I am Tony, and this week is a doozy. I'm hitting you with probably one of my favorite all-time characters next to Wolverine, Conan the Barbarian. This guy holds a special place in my heart. I bonded with my dad over comic books with Conan the Barbarian because Conan the Barbarian is my dad's favorite comic book character. I watched all the movies as a kid with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even the Jason Momoa one in 2011, I went to the theater and actually bought a ticket and saw that movie. Not that bad. I know a lot of people think it sucks. I'm okay with it, except for the very last scene. I thought that was kind of whack. But I'm a huge Conan fan, always have been. Even have some of the old comic books from the old Marvel days before they sold it off and before they rebought it back. And I felt like Marvel Legends never really did him justice in terms of a really awesome action figure. I know they made one years ago, not really a fan of it, so I figured, fuck it. I love customizing things. Why not make my own figure finally and give it a shot? And this is what I came up with. This is my own design. I scoured the internet. I found one gentleman on Instagram. I'll link his picture in the description below. He used the same armor parts, but he used the other side and just the belt. I kind of put my own spin on it, but I'm not going to say that this was just my own dream child. I did look on the internet for pictures, I did get some ideas, and I found one that I liked, and I kind of went with his design, and I just put my own spin on it. So I don't want to waste any more time. I'm going to jump into the tutorial. There are a few things that I want to do differently. I do plan to remake Conan more accurate to the comic books with no pants, but I'll talk about that after the tutorial. I'm going to jump right into the tutorial now, so catch you when we're done. Alright guys, we're going to jump right into this two-part episode. I've already taken my Dremel to this part of the boot. I'm just starting with the legs and working my way up. I didn't like the way these boots looked. They look good for Hercules, but not Conan. They have two straps here. I really wasn't a big fan of them, so I grinded them down with a sanding block and a Dremel. I'm going to add a little bit of epoxy sculpt here to this brown area of the boot to build it up to where I grounded down. This way it's all level. It's not going to matter because this whole section I'm gonna put contact cement and fur, so you're not even going to see this anymore. And I'm going to cut it all out to make sure that I still keep the the articulation in his foot, because I want to keep that. I don't want to lose that. So, and then for the foot part, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm thinking about grinding this down because I don't really need this foot plate. So I'm thinking about either grinding that down or building it up with more epoxy sculpt around it, just to build up the boot to make it more beefy, because I'm going to add fur. So I'm not sure just yet. I might just leave it as a guide, because that's probably where I'm going to wrap all the leather straps to make it look like he just wrapped around his boot. I'm going to make two different versions of Conan. This is just the first version. I'm just going complete custom with it, and kind of just put my own spin on it. I took an idea that I saw from a gentleman who made his own Conan on Instagram, and I kind of took liberties with my own version, but it's inspired from this gentleman who made his version of Conan, and I'll link the pictures and everything in the description below to his Instagram so you can see what he made. But I liked what he did. I just want to add my own spin to it, so I'm going to make the boots all fur. I'm going to keep them in pants, but I'm going to still make a loincloth. But I'm also going to take the Century figure that I got, because I needed the head to make the Conan head, and I'm going to take his body and I'm going to paint him completely over and make the usual Conan that everybody knows, with just the loincloth and all the bare skin. But for right now, I'm just making my own kind of inspired version, custom Conan that I just want to make. So, like I said, when I'm done with this is all going to be covered in fur, and I'm going to have a little bit more fur here on his legs, right here, and just this whole part to this part will be wrapped in fur, so it'll look like a fur lip, and then the rest of the boot. So it'll just look like he's really wrapped in fur. This is going to be like a winter version of Conan, like it's cold out, because I'd like to take like a couple winter shots. And for his armor and stuff, like I said, I took inspirations from the gentleman on Instagram, and I got that Blood Axe Dark Ages Spawn figure, and I just I stripped him clean. I took all the armor off of him, and now I'm going to make it for Conan. But I'm also going to take that figure and make my own custom diorama using that figure. So I'm going to get more into that later on. This is going to be a whole few-part episode of this whole custom Conan diorama thing. So just bear with me and we'll get it together. So I'm gonna start mixing epoxy sculpt and filling in this brown part, and then I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna do with the foot. So when I come back, that's where we'll be. All right, guys. So this is how far I gotten. I got both boots covered, as you can see. I almost turned them into like mini UGG boots. And then, like I said, I'm gonna put contacts in it. I left the you know, the ability to keep the articulation there. I'm trying to just make sure that the hinge doesn't get epoxied, so I'm just trying to keep it clean as much as I can. I keep going back in with this clay sculptor to make sure nothing happens. But you know, I'm gonna have to finagle with it some more. I'm probably gonna wait until it dries and sets, and then I'm gonna mess with it and sand it and Dremel it out and everything like that. I'm just trying to make sure that it, even if it just articulates enough so I can make sure he stands and doesn't fall all the time, I'll be happy. But I just keep going in here with my clay sculpting tool and just making sure that all the, you know, the hinges are clean and there's enough room for it to move through it. And it won't be, and I mean, like I said, it's getting wrapped in fur and leather anyway, so that might hinder a lot of the mobility. I mean, that happens when I put on costumes, so it's gonna happen for action figures too, you know. But I'm just trying to keep it to where there'll still be enough that it can at least put him in position and stuff. So just keep at it and take your time with it. This epoxy sculpt is pretty easy to use. I didn't think it was going to be this easy. I thought that's why it took me so long to mess with it, because I thought it was much harder. But it's actually much easier than I thought it was going to be, so I'm happy about that. But like I said, I got it looking like essentially like an UGG boot. I even got rid of the heel that he had here, and let me fix this. I'm sorry. The heel here under his foot, like I didn't like that, the heel, so I got rid of that too, and I just made it like a flat boot, because I think Conan wears more of the flat boots. I know he does have them, but like I said, I'm going to make a more or more comic accurate Conan later down the road. For now, I'm just doing my own custom version, and in my version, he doesn't really, you know, he's a barbarian, so where is he going to get fancy heeled shoes? You know, he's just going to kind of makeshift fur boots, so that his feet can stay warm in the winter. So this is what I got. Obviously can't do anything else with them because this epoxy sculpt is still kind of tacky and wet, or still. So I'm just making sure that they don't mess the hinges up. So that's what I got so far. I'm gonna move on next to adding more to the epoxy sculpt to his leg parts, so these will kind of transition seamlessly into the boots. So that's what I'm going to do now. Alright guys, so now I got this figure. Excuse me, I'm watching Community. I'm going to add epoxy sculpt to the bottom part here, just to add a big lip of fur once I glue that down. So I'm going to take another bead of epoxy sculpt and just wrap it around. This way I know where I'm going to be gluing down my fur. Alright, so I went ahead and already did the boot. As you can see, it looks pretty sick. Did not lose any of the articulation. When I pushed it into the peg, it did ride up a little bit on the back, but I just said fuck it and I'll paint that. I wasn't really worried about that at all. But for the most part, they look pretty fucking awesome. They basically look like fur Ugg boots, which is what I was going for. Like I said, don't lose any articulation, but it still covered the whole ball joint. So I was so happy about that. You don't even, like I said, it looks like a legit boot on his foot. Here, like I said, just use contact cement. Be careful. It does get messy, and you can mess up a bunch of shit. So just be careful. Take your time. Like I said right here, as you can see, I'm rubbing off the Access contact cement because I just put too much of it on. And I didn't let it dry. I rushed because I just want to get this done. So just be patient and don't do like me and mess anything up. It did work out in my favor because it was wet. A lot of the fur got smushed down. But his boots are supposed to look dingy and dirty anyway, so I was okay with that. It didn't bother me at all. If you want, you can leave the boot like that. If you want to, that's totally up to you. If you just want to paint the shoe part brown and just make it look like leather with fur wrapped around his ankle, totally your call. I didn't want that. I wanted the shoe covered in fur too, so I did that. But you don't have to. As you can see here, I'm just putting a little contact cement. Go slow. Use a small brush and apply it to exactly where you want it to be. Don't glob this shit on because it's just no point to it. So just put a couple nice thin coats. Some things you do have to do 2 coats, so you have to wait for it to dry and then do another coat. Some fabrics. I didn't have that issue. This was just 1 coat, went right on. I already got the ankle part here, as you can see, or the calf part, whatever you want to call it. And then I just moved on to getting the shoe piece done. Like I said, it gets tricky. I had to wait for this to fully dry because I did not want to fuck the fur up again because I fucked the fur up on the first one. So I took my sweet ass time and let the contact cement cure completely. See, and it had no issues. Didn't lose any articulation. Still looks great. Feels great. And I was very happy with the result. Next, I moved to leather strips. I'm going to add leather strips just to make it look like he wrapped the fur securely around his ankles. There's no method here. Just make sure it looks straight. The cuts don't have any, unless you want it messy, you could do that too. There's some people like the messy look. I don't. I like the kind of straight cut looks on the leather. And I just use this crazy glue. Best crazy glue I ever used, Rapid Fuse. So easy to use, and it sticks immediately. Like, I don't need any accelerator or anything like that. I use this, and in like 10 minutes, it's set, glued, and I can fuck around with it. I don't have any problems with it, so I'm going to highly recommend it. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, in the paint section. Not hard to find, where all the glues are. Like I said, it's called Rapid Fuse. Pretty awesome stuff. And like I said, here you just take your time and you just wrap the leather however you want. This is how I wanted it. I just put 2 strips across the ankles, and then I wrapped them right around his foot, and then just glued them in place. I really was so worried about getting them back on his feet. I didn't want to break the pegs, so just take your time, and you shouldn't have a problem. If you got them off, you should get them back on, no problem. But I was worried about it not matching up and not looking right. But man, do they look sick, don't they? Then I just went in with the scissors and I just trimmed up around them because I felt like they were too furry. Because this is actually made, the fur that I used was from an actual costume. Here I took the belt from the Blood Axe figure and I just added my own spin to it, some fabric and some leather. The leather part in the front is simple. You just take this leather here and you just fold it over to make it a little thicker. Maybe 2-3 times tops. That's all you need. Don't go crazy. Fold it nice and flat down, and then you can use it however you need it. And then for this, it was just a bag that I had my paintbrushes in. This is what came from Amazon. I just liked the color of the fabric, and I figured that would be the perfect under fabric to the pleather. To secure them, I just glued them together. Again, I used the Rapid Fuse glue. Like I said, I love that stuff. Held the fabric and the leather pretty well. Really easy to do. Like I said, this is basically anybody. If you have creativity and you just want to, there's no wrong way to do this. So just take your time and have fun. Like I just used my X-Acto knife to make sure the glue stuck down and kept it down, and it did. Then I took the belt off of Conan, and then I just glued one section to one side of the belt. I didn't glue it across the whole thing because I want to be able to take it on and off and put it on the other Conan body that I'm going to make soon. So I just glued it to one side, and then if I need to get it on him, no problem. And that's the finished product. As you can see, the strings behind him, I wanted to give it a realism, and when it's on the Spawn figure, I couldn't do that because it was permanently secured to Spawn. I had to cut the belt off. So what I did was I poked some holes in the back, ran some hemp cord through it, and I basically tie it now like a girdle, and it works perfectly. Again, was just rolled the dice, didn't think it was going to work, and it worked beautifully. And now you just tie it in the back like a girdle, and the thing doesn't move at all. It's beautiful. The shoulder piece was another blood axe piece. I used chain to secure it to his chest. That's how it was secured on the other guy, but I wanted to use a gold chain just so everything matched. I got that from Michael's, which was pretty awesome. I'll link it in the description below. Pretty cheap stuff. I did paint a lot of this stuff, and I just used some accessories that I cut off from the blood axe figure just to make it look cool. I used army paints. The only thing I really did was I painted his knee pads, like I said, because I didn't want the pants to be any gray in it. And I painted his hair, and I gave the sentry head eyeballs. Like I said, I could have used Citadel paints, but they're expensive, so I just went with these army paints. For 90 bucks, you get 50 paints, a bunch of them with washes, acrylics, metallics. I started on the inside because I just wanted to make sure I got that done. I didn't want to get anything on his face. I did a dry brush technique too, so don't go crazy. Don't glob it on. Just go slow when it comes to paint, and you should be fine. This was actually the simplest part. I thought it was going to be the hardest part. It was the simplest. The hardest part was really the fur and the contact cement. So that's basically it, guys. Here I'm just painting the eyebrows, and then after the eyebrows, I do the eyeballs, and like I said, I do a little bit of detail on the armor pieces. I painted the skulls gold because I just didn't like them looking the way they did, so I painted everything gold. And then I painted his bracers gold too. For one of the bracers, I will say I took the knee pad from the Spawn figure because I thought it looked so awesome. And I just heated it up, I wrapped it around his wrist, and then I glued it to the Hercules bracer, and then I just put it on him. And as you can see, he's got it on right now, but it's black. I painted it gold and silver. You'll see it at the end. It came out amazing. And right here I'm painting the skull thing. The skull on his belt. The figure also came with like a canteen and a pouch, so I put those on his belt too. I said, fuck it, why not just use everything that I could? But this was the most fun part too, because this is when the figures really started to come together. Here I'm painting the bracer, like I was telling you. And that's it, guys. Hope you really liked this video. It's one of my favorite builds, and I really can't wait to get to the diorama. So thanks for watching, guys. So there it is, guys. I'm sorry if the view was obstructed and you couldn't really see what I was doing. I know just working with these little things is kind of annoying. First things first, I will say working with the epoxy sculpt was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I wish I was a better sculptor. I know that'll come a time I'm really going to practice because I plan on making a bunch of custom figures more relative to Conan, because I want to do a whole stop motion animation photography thing with a bunch of like medieval type characters like Conan and Hercules and etc. The thing I would have done differently, I would have used the Thor Unworthy head from the Thor Hulk Ragnarok Build-A-Figure wave, because he already had irises. You didn't have to paint the eyes. All you would have done was paint the hair. I plan to use that Thor for my next Conan. Like I said, I'm going to make it more comic accurate, where he's just really wearing the loincloth. This is the Hercules sword. I don't mind it for him because it's a big, wide blade that's usually what Conan swings. But I am going to have the Atlantean sword from the Arnold Schwarzenegger films 3D printed. And I even plan to have the Jason Momoa sword printed. And I'm going to have him carry those. I just feel like that would just be an awesome nod to the films. Since I love them so much. Like I said, I may be the only one in the boat with liking the Jason Momoa Conan film. But I thought it was a very good film. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on, this is a part 1 of either a 3 or 4 part series of this Conan figure making thing. My next thing is the diorama for him. That's going to be a whole couple episodes in itself because it's going to be pretty cool and pretty detailed. It's actually going to be outside. It's not going to be an indoor shoot. I do plan to make it so it can be brought inside if I need to. But I'm going to probably leave it outside. I'm actually cleaning a section of my yard now. And like I said, it's going to be a 3 to 4 part series of me making this whole diorama for Conan. And after that, I'm going to announce a whole other series of freshly baked props in terms of action figure and diorama stuff building. So I'm going to get to that in a couple weeks. But stick with me for these next few weeks. You're going to watch me build an awesome battlefield diorama for him. And it's going to have a lot of cool stuff on it. It's going to have some naked chicks. I'm going to get a couple of siphon chick bodies, and I'm going to get a bunch of cool stuff to put around him in the battlefield. But that's actually going to have real fire stuff to it. I don't want to keep rambling, I'm sorry. So I'm just going to wrap it up. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, guys. Catch back next week when I start building the diorama for Conan. And as always, I will catch you on the flip.